Welcome back, true believers, to another Spider-Man PS4 layer video, and today I'm going to be talking about what will the final boss be in the game of Spider-Man PS4. So, once again, I'm going to be breaking down what were the final bosses in the original Spider-Man game, so not any of the movie tie-in games, because those final bosses were the ones from the movies. And also, just based on Insomniac Games' history of boss fights, I'm assuming they're going to go all out, they're going to go humongous and in all-out action and crazy comic book type style. For example, and they did it in like 2 games in a row too. They did it once in Sunset Overdrive, and of course, a ton of times in their Ratchet and Clank games, but I'm going to talk about the most recent one. But in Sunset Overdrive, the final boss was literally the huge mascot of the Fizco and corporations that you were fighting, and it turned into like a giant floating building that you had to fight in the end of the game, which was crazy, just like Insomniac would do. And then in the most recent Ratchet and Clank game, we thought throughout the entire game that the big boss was going to be Drek somehow, like he was going to get like a power armor suit or something, and we were half right because there was a power armored suit, but it wasn't for Drek, it was for Dr. Nefarious, which is the, main big bad villain of the whole Ratchet and Clank universe, and it was kind of expected that he was going to be a boss in some way. We just didn't know that he was going to be the final boss, and then he got like a giant mecha power armor suit at the end, which was bigger than you, and you had to take out all your weapons and just unload your entire arsenal of weaponry to just take out that giant robot. And same thing where it came to Sunset Overdrive's boss, you had to that boss was like as big as Mount Everest basically, and you were just this little tiny ant trying to climb up it and grind up it and try and take it out and do certain awesome things on it. And you did, and it was amazing. So with all that in mind, I think that Insomniac is going to choose a certain Spider-Man villain that represents both big, chaotic destruction, as well as that has ties to the main character of the game, that we can feel confident, I guess, in seeing Spider-Man take out. That is like a main villain, and not like some side villain. But with that also in mind, I'm going to break down the previous bosses that we've had in the Spider-Man games that were the final boss of Spider-Man. So in the original Spider-Man game from Neversoft, it was Doc Ock, we thought, and then it was amazing because Doc Ock turned into Monster Ock, which is where the Carnage symbiote latched on to Doc Ock at the end, and we had to run away from him, and it was just like a Dark Souls boss when I was a kid. I died so many frickin' times, and he was scary as hell. It terrified the living crap out of me, and whenever I saw him on screen, he was totally scary, poop my pants, nightmare fuel, and if Insomniac does something like that, I will lose my freaking mind because it will be amazing. And as well as how I think they could do a villain like Doc Ock as the main boss, they would just have to do something different with him. So that is Doc Ock or Monster Ock from Spider-Man 1, the Neversoft game. Then Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro, it was, of course, Electro. And then he was just kind of like Mega Electro at that point because he had all the electricity and all the power collecting and all the energy fueling him to fight Spider-Man, and it was a really epic battle at the end of that game, and I think it fit the game's ending really well. Then it was Ultimate Spider-Man, which was Venom on the top of the Trask building, which I loved. It was amazing to fight Eddie at his full Venom potential, and it was like the 3rd or 5th time we had to fight Venom or something like that because of just how amazing it was to play as him and then fight him at the end of that game. And I love that Venom and what that game did because it was an amazing game. Then we had, Web of Shadows, of course. Jeez, how did I forget that? Where you thought you were going to fight Venom at the end of that game? Oh, we had you fight a Godzilla-sized Venom with a total of 5 frickin' heads that you had to frickin' take out each of his frickin' multiple Hydra heads and that came out of his giant, enormous body, and you had to frickin' defeat or kill at the end of the game. That boss fight was one of the greatest boss fights ever in a Spider-Man game / superhero game alone. It was amazing to see Venom look like that, as well as trying to fight him on a giant helicarrier, like an epic set piece at the end of that game. And seeing the concept art also from that game at the end, it was amazingly cool and awesome. Then we had Shattered Dimensions, where we had separate boss fights, which is what you're seeing right now. But the main big bad of the end of that game was Mysterio. It was cool seeing Mysterio fight the 4 different Spider-Men in their dimensions, and it was a very cool twist on that game's ending, and I loved it. And Edge of Time, we had Atrocity and Evil Peter Parker in like a spider mech type of outfit, which was cool, but again, it was just a big giant monster we had to fight at the end of the game. And then I will not talk about the Amazing Spider-Man games because those are movie tie-in games. So this one, it's going to be interesting because A, we need a villain that can be huge and literally bigger than Spider-Man, or if it's like the same size as Spider-Man, he or she has to be able to do big amounts of destruction in this game and the universe of this game. And it has to be a character that has been fleshed out within the story, that is a pivotal character within the main narrative of this game, and that we can actually feel rewarded at the feeling like we defeated that character at the end of the game, and like it build up to that final confrontation, similar to Uncharted 4, where you had to just finally confront Rafe near the end of that game after dealing with him so many times in the main game. And when we actually fought him, we thought it was going to be like a gunfight, kind of like how it was in Uncharted 2. It was a freaking sword fight in a burning ship. That's amazing and beautiful, and it totally sums up that kind of like big final confrontation in that game. And it was done in traditional Naughty Dog fashion with it, like you totally got the bad guy in the end and you're the good guy and you win style, and I loved it. It was amazing. He got his just desserts, as they say. So back to Spider-Man. My three choices are Green Goblin, since we kind of get a hint of him in the game already, being mayor, so I think there might be a storyline there, like, oh, Norman Osborn's running for mayor, but he's going to be corrupt, and he's going to, like, plan to actually kill or, assassinate someone, or, like, actually use the mayor power to, like, take control of New York City or something like that, and it would be a really interesting dynamic to see that whole storyline be fledged out in the game. We also have Doc Ock, similar to what they were in the Neversoft games. If we had Doc Ock in this game and he used his tentacles to, like, again, cause destruction and be, like, a real threat to this Spider-Man, I would love to see. And one that I really want to be the boss again, but I know a lot of people are sick and tired of it, is Venom. The last time we saw Venom, actual Venom, was in Web of Shadows. We haven't got him since. There have been hints of him, and, we had Anti-Venom, but that doesn't count as the main Venom. It's been 8 years since we've had Venom in a Spider-Man game, and it's going to be probably 9 years if this game comes out in 2017. So, it makes sense. Like, Venom can cause huge amounts of destruction. He is literally bigger than Spider-Man. In my opinion, he is Spider-Man's nemesis and the literal opposite of Spider-Man. It would be a very compelling fight to the death, basically, since Venom would want to actually kill Spider-Man. I know that Green Goblin and Doc Ock would as well, but something about Venom just really screams like, no, I'm going to kill you, Spider-Man. So it would feel like an actual boss fight that would feel challenging towards us and would feel really compelling in the story. If there's any other bosses that I've missed, let me know in the comment section down below. These are my thoughts and speculations on who I think the final boss could be in Spider-Man PS4. Thank you all so much for watching, true believers. Tune in next time for more Spider-Man PS4 related videos. Peace out.